On your mark, get set. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning. Kevin Durant, you should have left California.
This bronsexual upset me in having to bring this teenage idiot from Wisconsin into a sports conversation. Are you really surprised the Cowboys are giving up on Ezekiel Elliott?
Whoa. Hell no! Well, no one cares about baseball.
Bitch, are you for real?
Oh, yeah, baby. It's time to get this bad boy going. We're approaching the end of the week, and it's time to roll. Good morning. Welcome to the Tripped Out Thursday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us. I'm coming to you live from Edinburgh, Indiana. Of course, I got my morning brew with me. I'll tell you that in a moment. And ladies and gentlemen, the man in charge of Gold Sports with a Z. The man, no myth, legend building, Cole Johnson. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Ow!
Well, that's what I wanted to hear. I love it.
Oh, perfect. Yes, I'm doing great. How are you, man?
I have no complaints.
Oh, good.
I have no complaints whatsoever. I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a great morning. My wife dropped me off this morning and said, go kick ass. So that's what I'm doing.
Awesome. That's how it's supposed to be.
That's how it's supposed to be, and that's how it's going to be. Period. That's the last word I can come up with.
Mm-hmm.
So, about people saying the Warriors are finished. I've said it before.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It slipped again.
What'd I say?
Look, go ahead. I'm just joking. Go ahead.
I know. Again. What'd I say? Oh, I know what I said.
Yeah, people said the Warriors are finished.
Mm-hmm. Well, after a big win last night in Dallas, I say unto them, to be the champs, you must unseat the champs. Woo!
Custom made from head to toe.
That's Golden State. But I know what I love seeing, the Sacramento Kings. One of these years, it's going to be a Northern California collision for the Western Conference title. One of these years, because the Kings are here to stay.
Owned, operated, and manipulated by the nature boy, Cole Flair. Whoa!
Woo!
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's get down to business. Let's do our whip around, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that. All right,
Round this morning is presented by Fanatics.
Mm-hmm.
Officially licensed everything. All right, what you got for us, partner?
All right, let's have a little fun, shall we, with the Carolina Panthers. So the new coach of the team, Frank Reich, he has probably some outlook as to where the Panthers are leaning with that number 1 overall pick. So, of course, now they are on the clock, and
Of course,
as of 5 weeks from today, they will have that choice. Now, of course, they're trying to be coy as to where they're going to land and where they're going to lean.
but they can't get by us.
Right. But they pretty much are sort of focusing on a few players. Of course, obviously C.J. Stroud, the quarterback from Ohio State. Bryce Young, the quarterback from Alabama. Anthony Richardson, the quarterback from Florida. And possibly another, Will Levis of Kentucky. So they're probably thinking along those lines. I'm thinking that David Tepper is twisting the arm. Frank Reich is saying to David Tepper, we need to have a new signal caller for the future.
How much you want to bet that's a lot of arm twisting? Convincing.
Oh gosh, yes. But yeah, I'm interested to see where they
Come
are
on,
going
is
to
it
go.
that
because
is
they
it
have
that
so many
obvious,
needs
or is
that
it
they
just
find.
me? Is it
It
that
to me-
obvious, or is it just me that David Tepper is handcuffing Frank Reich?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a choice in this. They got the number 1 overall. Of course, Tepper wants to make a big splash, and
I'll
the
I'll
way
tell
you
you
make a big
exactly
splash
who,
is going to be one of the 2 quarterbacks we mentioned in
and
Yanni's
I'll tell you exactly who they're going to choose. C.J. Stroud.
That's where my gut's leaning. I'm thinking that's
My
where they're going to
my gut's
eventually go.
leaning that they're going to take C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
And you said the perfect phrase. Splash. Big splash.
Yes.
What bigger splash than the fellow who played for the national championship? Now they could really mess this up and choose Anthony Richardson, but I digress.
I don't think that's going to happen either. So, when I saw that as a possible name, I'm like, nah, he's not going to be picked.
Like I said, partner, they could really screw this up and choose Anthony Richardson. But I'd like to think that the Panthers have a little bit of sense.
Mhm.
But then again, these are the same Panthers that relied on Cam Newton for 11 years when he was done after 5 years.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the same Cam Newton that went through his second pro day in his career?
That same.
Lord
The
have
same.
mercy. Goodness gracious. Let me stop there. Go ahead, sir.
You would think they'd learn by now.
Yeah, you would think.
Think
Now,
being the operative void.
And I would not be surprised if they actually take out feelers for him yet again. Austin Eckler. Now, he's been one of the most productive, I can't say the best, but one of the most productive running backs in the NFL in recent memory. But the Chargers stand out. Basically, he is in limbo because he finds himself in a contract dispute. Now, he turns 28 in 2 months, and he's on a contract for this coming season at about $6 million. Now, he wants a long-term deal, but the Chargers aren't really feeling that yet. So he's received permission from the Chargers to seek a trade.
F you, Spanos.
So Eckler went on to say the following, and I'm glad you went there because that's exactly what I want to go to. Quote, I'm so underpaid right now as far as my contract and what I contribute to the team. It's like I'm relentlessly pursuing this. Yes, you are, sir. Close quote. Now, Eckler did say this on the Green Light with Chris Long podcast this past Monday. You went exactly where I was going to go. Austin, sir, I hate to say this to you, but you right now work for an owner who is absolutely positively cheap.
And
I can
clueless.
I can go in about Brandon Staley, but I won't in this case.
That tells the story of the Los Angeles Chargers, and that's the only time I'll say it properly right there. That
Yeah.
tells the story.
Yeah, I mean this guy has been a big part of the offense. Now, I think he should be a bigger part of the offense, but he's been a big part of the offense, and yet the Chargers are so dismissive for him and about him. And this also tells you how owners regard the running back position. They just think it's expendable. It's like, okay, let me see, your clock is up. Oh, you've blown the candles to your 27th birthday. Okay, yeah, you're rendered useless. And they discard him. Now you
F
remember
you,
the days.
Spanos.
Now you remember
You
the
should
day.
have kept the team in
San
San
Diego.
Diego.
Now you remember the days where we used to see running backs when they get to 27, 28, the age that Eckler is now, where that pretty much their prime, and they were producing. They were producing at a rate where you're like, doggone. That's a
Natron
workhorse.
means anyone? You want to talk Charger history of running backs? Tim Spencer, Natron Means, Chuck Muncie.
Yeah, Chuck Muncher
There was
was
another. There was
about on the
another one.
opposite side of his prime when the Chargers had him. Yeah,
Uh,
and of
there's
course,
another one. Oh yeah. Anybody remember the name Marion Butts?
yeah, and then of course you have, to me, the most productive running back the Chargers ever had in LaDainian Tomlinson. So you would think that they would understand the value of a running back, but with how they're dealing with Eckler, the answer is quite obvious. They don't, and that's ridiculous. Austin, seek your money elsewhere, bro, and get out of that sinking ship that is in Inglewood, where they rent to the Rams. Speaking of, I won't say sinking ship, but speaking of the NFL, Roger Goodell. It looks like the ink is about to dry on his contract extension, as the owners are happy that he's bringing in a whole lot of money for them. He gets to continue to be the sheriff of the NFL. Now,
Oh, so you mean they're happy he's bringing in a whole lot of money for him, right?
yes,
Making all the owners billionaires.
exactly. Yeah. So they're happy that Mr. Goodell, he brings each team a surplus. Not they earn. He brings teams a surplus of about $300 million each year. So you know that the owners are happy. They're fat cats. They're living even richer off of this sport, where you would think that it would be hard to make money. Well, these owners are making money hand over fist. So, yes, the 31 owners and the managing partner of the Packers are happy.
Imagine if you and I owned a team together. And yes, there is a 2.5-foot wicked smile on my face when I present that. But we're going to be part of a media conglomerate that's going to snatch the NFL rights. Did I say that aloud?
Now, Goodell, yeah, you did say that aloud. I like the sound of that, because you know you're going in the right direction, because that is where the money is in sports today. Goodell, he has been commissioned since 2006, and contract extensions, this is not new to him. He had one in 2009, had one in 2012, he had one in 2017, so this is his fourth one. And considering that he is now going into his 18th year being the commissioner, it looks like the financial success of the league bodes well for him. And who knows? This dude could make anywhere from between $45 and $70 million a year.
Like I said, wait till we pull our conglomerate together and snatch the rights of the 4 major leagues.
Oh yeah, that's going to be great. That's going to be
And
great.
we're going to do it right under their noses. So I'm putting this out there, and I dare anyone to challenge us. We're going to be snatching some broadcast rights within the next 5 years through Cole Sports and Snowman Multimedia. We're going to snatch, and I'm doing this evilly. We're going to snatch some broadcast rights, and we're going to live like fat cats. Putting
Yeah,
to rest. No, we're not going to put the notion to rest that brothers can't work together, because someone is always going to say that, and it's always going to be someone of our persuasion. Oh, did I say that aloud?
I don't really give a crap.
I know. I'm just throwing the carrot out there.
Oh, I know. Oh no,
I'm just,
no.
I'm just,
I care about the carrot.
I'm just dangling. I'm just dangling the carrot out there, like I doing,
Mhm.
like I do with the toy in front of my little kitten Winnie.
Yeah, I can understand that. Oh well. Well, congratulations, Roger. You might actually might make 100 million one of these days before you actually hang it up for good. So you're doing fine, because you're making the
Mhm.
owners very rich. And shout out to our man Kevin Harlan, who he was on the call for the Furman upset of Virginia, but he felt embarrassed because a moment of his went viral quickly. The broadcast booth, of course, also went viral along with it. Now, he said that he felt very uncomfortable with the footage that was shared. Now, CBS released a behind-the-scenes look at Harlan, at Dan Bonner, and Sam Van Gundy when Furman beat Virginia with 2 seconds left to go in the game for them to advance to the second round of the South region. Now, Harlan exclaimed, as he always does when he gets excitable about anything that he sees. Let's see, should I get the quote correct? Here we go. He said, quote, "Did we just see what we think we just saw?" Close quote.
That kind of
Now,
sounded like his. That kind of sounded like his call when he called the Phillies special for Westwood One.
right. Now, he went on Sports Media, the podcast that Richard Dietz hosts, and on Wednesday he said he begged CBS to not share the video, but CBS was like, more attention, more coin, we sharing it. So he said he felt kind of embarrassed, but he isn't comfortable with the footage that they shared. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, one, Kevin Harlan's a legend.
Right.
Two, I can't blame him, because I've had moments like that.
Mm-hmm.
And three, damn you, CBS, for not honoring his request. If you can honor the request of Greg Gumbel, who is stepping down from NFL coverage,
Mm-hmm.
and Jim Nance, who is stepping away from the NCAAs after this year, why couldn't you honor this simple request from Kevin Harlan? Beg your pardon. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all.
Am I wrong in that? Am I wrong in that assessment? This is coming from a play-by-play man of 27 years.
No.
Now, Kevin's been at this a lot longer than I, and he's reached loftier heights than I.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's a brotherhood.
Yeah.
It's a brotherhood, and it's a sisterhood.
Yeah.
We don't want to be. We don't want to have embarrassing video leaked, because who's to say that someone won't get a hold of it in this social media wanting to be viral age? Who's to say that someone won't get a hold of it and run the other way with it?
Right. Now, I'm glad, well, obviously, Harlan's one of the most professional play-by-play callers in the history of the medium. So,
love Kevin Harlan.
Yeah,
Kevin Harlan.
Yeah, so I mean, it's to me, it's not. I don't think it's not much of a problem. However, I'm 100% in agreement with you. If a voice that experienced and that trusted, that has been on air that long,
right,
has any sort of reticence or what you want to do, and he says, I don't really feel good, could you take that down, please? You should honor it, I believe.
I believe you should honor it too, because I've had people make requests of me, don't put this show up, don't put that show up. I don't like it. I want you to edit it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, why can't that be honored?
Right.
Why can't that be honored? We'll stay on
Absolutely.
that while we wait for Deets. This is the Whip Around presented by Fanatics.
All right. Well, we'll
Now,
take it.
I've had a moment of my own, a viral moment of my own, 11 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
this month. Um, here's the story. I was covering the basketball tournament for Illinois, IHSA. I was living in Chicago, and I was supposed to cover Marist High School as they went for a regional championship. It's the reverse in Illinois as it is in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
As they went for the regional championship, which would be the first round championship, and they were playing the number 6 team, not just in the city but in the state of Illinois in the Curie Condors.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was where the first Marist miracle was born, and Marist was a complete underdog. And Lexus Hot Rod Williams, one of my favorite players on that team, hit a three, and I went completely berserk. And I'm not denying it anymore. I went completely berserk. I didn't expect to get a message from a friend of mine that Sunday night that was in an article on awfulannouncing.com highlighting my call. Now, my spider senses went off, and I said, okay, this could go one of two ways. I don't know which way it's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was informed that that call was headed to ESPN, and I'm going, oh no. The kids are going to see this, and they're going to explode. They saw it, they heard it, and they did explode. And I had four interviews, including one with WSCR Chicago. And they asked, "Do you have another one left in you?" I said, "The action's got to dictate it." Simeon played Whitney Young that Tuesday at Argo High School. And for those of you in Illinois, you know where Argo is. It's right off 63rd, going west. That wasn't that wasn't the game of the week. The game of the week was the one I had the next night when Marist played the number 4 team in the state in the Bogan Bengals. Yeah, it happened again when Marist erased a 15-point deficit in 2.5 minutes. That became the second of the Marist miracles. Now, I didn't know where this call was going to go. I had no idea where this call was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody was picking it up and running with it. I did an interview with Dory Monson out in Seattle, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other stations, including WFAN, who at the time had the show uh, Boomer and Carton.
Mm-hmm.
Then I get an email from the producer of the Dan Patrick show.
Mm-hmm.
And it was late here that Patrick was making fun of me. I didn't like that. Sorry about that, folks. I didn't. But then I started thinking about it at the time. He's just going off of what I did. Yeah. Then his producer got a hold of me. You need to send me a headshot, a quick bio, and you're going to connect with us in 20 minutes. What?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was part of my moment of fame. So I completely understand where Kevin Harlan's coming from. Completely get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, to me, I think what most people don't really grasp when it comes to just any sort of media. I mean, it could be news anchor, it could be reporter, it could be analyst, it could be color guy, it could be play-by-play guy, it could be studio analyst. There is this level of professionalism that you want to uphold at all times, and when you have those moments where, yeah, the beauty of sports is that I've always said it is the ultimate reality TV show, and you can try to create that reality anywhere else. It just doesn't do it the way sports ever will. And when you get caught up in the moment, sometimes you will probably either say things or do things or act in a way that is not necessarily professional.
Been
And
there.
yeah, and when that
Been there.
happens, yeah, and when that happens, you kick yourself because it's like, doggone it. I know that I am supposed to be excitable, and I'm supposed
Hmm.
to, like you said, the play the play dictates the level of excitement that I have in the
Yeah.
call,
The
and
play.
that's yeah.
What I've said for years. After I started in 1995, the play dictates the voice.
Hmm. Yeah. And so, but sometimes when, because I know this now, I mean, sometimes when you say something and it doesn't really, it doesn't really connect with your ears, or it's like, oh
Right.
man, I wish I said that in this manner, or I
Right.
wish I didn't
Right.
say this, or I wish I didn't say it this way. And that moment is like, oh yeah, this is going to make it circles around the world. Yeah,
Yep.
I can see how that's embarrassing.
And when I was covering Lewisburg College 2 years ago, back in North Carolina, I said something out loud that actually wound up happening, and
Mm-mm.
it wasn't embarrassing per se,
Mm-hmm.
but you know how much I love covering the kids. Well,
Yeah.
I had a home run call which tied the game. It was the first game of doubleheader, the first doubleheader I had at Lewisburg. Noah Madison, aka the Mad Dog, with the Canes down 7-4 in the bottom of the seventh inning. It was the first game of a doubleheader. I said Noah Madison was long overdue. First pitch, pow, and it wasn't coming back. Well, that's when I became Robert Ford. And I said center fielder going back, looking up, see you later. Yeah, not only did the kids get a hold of that call, when I clipped it and put it on, when I clipped it and put it out there on the internet, not only did the kids get a hold of that call, but the parents got a hold of it. See, stuff like that is fun. When you would think something would not stick around, i.e., bronze sexual confessions, i.e., the trace list, and thank y'all in the chat for that. You use it as a throwaway, and you're like, that's not going to stick around because you told the story often. You told me there's no way that bronze sexual confessions will last longer than. And what'd you say? I'd give it a year. I remember you saying that. You said I'd give it a year. Yeah, 3 years later and counting. You're muted.
Thank you. It's like the material just never stops.
It doesn't. And I bring up that and tie it into um, announcer moments with Kevin Harlan and Jim Nance, of course, the late great Jim Durham, and all that.
Hmm.
Yeah, you would think something wouldn't stick, a moment
Right.
wouldn't stick, or a segment wouldn't stick. And I again bring up Bronze Sexual Confessions. You told me, and I remember you telling me, it's only going to last, I give it a year. Those are your exact words.
Hmm.
Yeah, wrong,
Ooh, was I wrong?
wrong.
Ooh, was I ever wrong?
And don't it don't stop because it can't stop.
Yeah,
Long after you know who retires, it don't stop because it can't stop.
that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, good lord, we're gonna be hearing this
Bec-
well into our 60s and 70s now.
Dude, we're going to be doing this show live on location, and someone's going to say something completely dumb, referring to you know who. It's Thursday. I can't cuss.
Hmm.
Referring to you know who, And it's just gonna have to happen. I'll say this right now. We're gonna be on Radio Row in Las Vegas, Nevada for Super Bowl 58. Our wives are gonna be chilling, wandering around Vegas or driving around Vegas because, yeah, I'm saying this now 9 months in advance of the new year, and people think I'm crazy for saying this, but I always have the thought of dream big, do bigger. Wives are they're going to drop us off at the convention center or wherever they hold Radio Row. We're going to be taking care of business. They're going to be driving around shopping and talking and getting to know each other, because I got the feeling when Michelle and Jody get together, it's going to be a laugh fest.
Probably will be.
And that's just what we're going to do. We're going to have a lot of embarrassing moments. We're going to have a lot of viral moments. Kevin Harlan's been through it. Jim Nance has been through it. And I mentioned those two names because we're in the midst of the tournament.
Right.
And beginning in 2024, we're going to be in the midst of the tournament. All of it. I'm putting up articles now, just doing a quick 1-minute recap. And the only other company to do it that way is Stadium. And I love them. I love how Stadium does their work. So I figure, hey, borrow it as a blueprint. And that's what we're going to do. Victor Locke says, but emotion is what pulls the audience in, because if you didn't care about the game, why should we? That moment is one of the proudest for me because my buddy was on ESPN. Well, thank you, Victor.
Oh, look, there's no arguing there. I agree with you, Vic. There's no arguing there. No question about that.
Here's what I'll do. Tomorrow, I will not only explain the Marist Miracles, but I will play them.
Them? Oh, okay.
There were two of them. One happened on
I remember hearing one of them. I don't remember hearing the second.
One happened on a Friday night. The other happened on a Wednesday night. And the theme became, after the Wednesday night miracle against Bogan, then they played the number one team in the state, the Simeon Wolverines. And the question I kept asking, and my broadcast partner called me and said, what's our theme for Friday? Can Cinderella do it a third time? Yeah, that got to all the kids. That got to all the Red Hawk rowdies. Can Cinderella do it a third time? And then Simeon came in like a well-oiled machine and beat up Marist.
Yeah, but saying Chris Bass fashion said, nope.
No third miracle, but that was the most fun. That was part of the most fun year that I had in a long time. And hopefully when we move and get settled and I find a couple of schools out west, I'll experience the same thing. We got Deets on the way, and we're going to get totally Deets, but we're going to step away for a break. We're going to pay some bills. We apologize for the late start. I'm going to finish my breakfast. We're going to pay some bills, and then we are going to get totally Deets. From the Tennessee Whiskey Studios as well as Edinburgh, Indiana, this is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. We're back in a flash.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Dog, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high-potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus. Smarter than energy.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brux Night Guard. Now, the Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to BruxNightGuard.com and order yours today.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extra berth. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
To me, selective outrage was funny. A lot of people found it offensive. A lot of people said he shouldn't have called Jada so many times.
Okay.
What else should he called her?
Right.
Seriously, what else should he called her? Like,
let's
be honest, man. She did some. So when you do, you get called a. Point blank. I wasn't trying to call her out like just to say she's a. No, she did some.
Do you think that Chris Rock was well within his right to basically call Jada out of her name as often as he did?
Yes, because when you do some, use a. Yes.
You want to hear what we said about Chris Rock, Will Smith, and Jada Pinkett Smith? Tune in to Mentality. You can catch it on Mondays on the Comey Media Incorporated, the We Rise TV YouTube channels, and you can catch replay on TV Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, on the BS3 Network via Roku TV. Back at it, Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, my partner, and probably is dealing with some technical difficulties. He will join us momentarily. With him, I am Cole Johnson, and it is now time, as we do every Thursday at the bottom of the first hour, it's time to get totally deets.
Passionate.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
Unflinching.
Let's go back to losing. Parking was easier.
Unrelenting.
They're not gonna keep him off the field tonight!
Totally.
This one has a chance!
Deets.
That's not just a murmur, that's a full-blown fibrillation.
And it is time to welcome once again the man who is in charge of the Fifth Down Sports Show, the man who wields the Thor axe, the one, the only Chris Dietz. How are you doing, man?
Hey Cole, how you doing? It's been a long week, I'll tell you.
Okay, well, what's on your mind?
Well, today, today we have the good, the bad, and the ugly to get through. But we'll start off on a cheery, good note. UConn is still going, still striving, still going in the NCAA tournament. So much pride to UConn. For a lot of people, we'll start with the goods, the good thing that's going on in our lives. And for that, I have to ask you a question. Do you know who Jenna Ortega is?
I have an idea who she is.
Okay, I know people are going to come on. I've come on the last, month and just given you guys just crappy TV to watch. But Jenna Ortega is, look, you're talking to someone who grew up on Christina Ricci as being the greatest thing to ever grace television as Wednesday Addams. I love everything Christina Ricci, okay? And nothing signifies her better than Wednesday Addams. Jenna Ortega took over that mantle for the Netflix series Wednesday. And I have to tell you, it is every bit fantastic as the movies in the 90s. Addams Family Values. Wednesday is a fantastic show. So Jenna, who played Wednesday, was on a podcast earlier this week where she declared that let me think of how to do this here. Cole, you can open it with a quote.
Okay. So she said, quote,
I had to be unprofessional to make sure that the character of Wednesday Addams was protected by the screenwriters. I mean, think about that for a second. She had to do it. Is it just me, or does it just keep closing quotes?
No, it's just you're fine.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, she said she had to change the dialogue the way it was written because when she looked at it, Wednesday Addams would not act like that, would not say the things that were in the script, and she had to ad-lib them. And she had to, as she said it, act unprofessionally to make sure that the character she was playing was kept in the mold of the way she viewed the character. Meaning she had more integrity for the character than the people writing the damn show.
Oh boy.
That is fantastic to me. This girl is 17, 18 years old. And she had more integrity than the adults in the room that wanted her to act a certain way, that wanted her to act a way that was not the way Wednesday would act in a scene. And she had to change it on the fly. That is that is so amazing for someone to do it. And that's the good. That's the good thing. That there are still people that will do that.
Okay.
Now we get to the bad. And the bad is that she had to do this because the people writing the show have no integrity to the character. But B, people like the Hollywood Reporter and the New York Post Hollywood, it's the Hollywood Reporter for the New York Post, said in a headline, this should kill Ortega's career. This makes her career. It makes her. She is what made the #1 show on Netflix. She made it, not the writers. Her portrayal is what made it. But no, because she spoke out and because she said these people don't respect the lore, they don't respect the character, because they're not even arguing what she said. They're mad at her because she said it. Because she said it out loud. Because now instead of the writers saying, look, we wrote the #1 show on Netflix. Now everybody's going to go back and say, you didn't write the #1 show. She made it the #1 show because she respected the character more than you did. That's what they got mad at. They got mad that she exposed that they wanted the character to be more modern. This is what we've been saying. This is what I've been saying with bringing up all the stuff that I've brought up for the last few weeks since the Super Bowl. This is what I've been trying to tell y'all. These people are trying to destroy the culture from inside. They figured out that they can't do it from the outside. So they're trying to do it from the inside. And you have people like Jenna Ortega and Henry Cavill who are out there saying, no, I'm not putting up with you destroying something I'm working on. Henry Cavill is the perfect example with The Witcher, where he was so fed up with the show that he would yell and scream at the people. And this is not how it's done. And he would change it. And he was labeled toxic. And because he was a gamer, he was toxic. He wasn't the toxic one. The toxic ones were the people trying to change the lore, trying to change the character. And Henry Cavill wouldn't put up with it. So what'd they do? They put out Witcher Blood Origin, which is one of the worst shows ever made, and it was garbage. It was panned by everybody. Henry Cavill won. Jenna Ortega is going to win as well. I don't care that she's 17, 18 years old or whatever, however old she is. She is going to win if she keeps this up. And we're going to make sure that she wins because people like this need to exist. People that will stand up for their principles and not give in to the mob. And it was great to see.
It's what I've been doing with my company for 20 odd years. Chris Dietz joins us as he does every Thursday.
Yeah.
I missed the subject du jour, Dietz.
Oh, the subject du jour was Jenna Ortega, who is the lead character in the new Wednesday Addams series. Which again, Wednesday Addams, it is. I know I usually come on here and tell you, stay away from this. I'm telling you right now, as a fan of, and not to mention Christina Ricci is in the show as a teacher, which is awesome. But Wednesday, the series on Netflix is fantastic. If you have, I will say this, if you have a weak stomach, fast forward through the first 5 minutes. But if not, if you're a sick person like me and just enjoy watching people do crazy stuff, if you can get through the first 5 minutes of the show, you can get through the rest. The rest of the show is fantastic. It was amazing. Season 1 it broke records at Netflix. It is fantastic. Nice. And it was fantastic because Jenna Ortega, to recap for Snowman, Jenna Ortega came out on a podcast earlier this week and said, She had to fight with the showrunners and the writers to make sure that Wednesday Addams was portrayed the correct way. She had to change lines on the fly, change the way she was supposed to act, because when she read the script, she said, Wednesday wouldn't do this. Wednesday, my character would not act like this. And the writer said, no, this is how we wrote it. And she would say, no, I'm doing it this way. And she would just do it. And one of the most viral clips is her dancing at one of the dances for her thing. She totally ad-libbed the whole thing. And it's the most watched clip of the show. And like I said, it's not that Jenna changed things. They don't care that she changed it. They care that she exposed them. She exposed these writers and these people that they wanted to desecrate the character. They wanted to have it in a modern way, and she said no. And that's the greatest. That's the great thing. The bad thing is people in the Hollywood Reporter saying this should kill her career. That's what they believe. That's what's going on in Hollywood right now. Is if you don't accept the garbage we're putting out, no, you can't be a part of it. And a
lot of people are getting eviscerated with the roles for it. They're getting eviscerated for it, and it's not fair and it's not right.
Absolutely.
It's not fair and it's not right.
But again, the good thing is people like Jenna Ortega exist. People like Henry Cavill exist who are so dedicated to the roles that they're playing that they will not put up with it. When they see this garbage, they're going to change it on the fly. And whether you like it or not, they're going to make sure the character is represented. And that's what we need more. We need more of them. The Hollywood Reporter should not be trying to cancel her. They should be they should be holding her up on a pedestal and saying, this is what we need from actors. This is what we need from you Hollywood people is respect. Respect the character, respect the fan base, and everything.
Because they've already ruined, with what you came on here and exposed already, they've already ruined other shows. They've already ruined other characters.
They've ruined many things. And
yes,
as a teaser for next week, because I know it's opening day. We are going. I am going to tell you about Major League Baseball and how they are dangerously close to a dying entity. And that dying entity, I'll at the end, I'll give you a little rhyme and riddle, and if you can figure out the answer to what I say, you'll know the IP I'm talking about. But we'll do that at the end because we talked about the good, the bad, and now that Snowman's here, we have to talk about the ugly.
But my ex is long gone. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Come on, that Joker's right there.
He said the ugly, not the hideous.
Yeah,
I thought they were the same. Cole, for you, I thought it was the same thing.
I don't know your ex, but I'll tell you this right now.
You don't want to.
No one.
You don't want to.
No one is as ugly as what I saw on Saturday night. No one is that.
Dear.
No one is that ugly.
Oh dear, what happened?
And so Saturday I went out and we're watching the NCAA tournament, and obviously it's on CBS. So we're watching the NCAA tournament, and the tournament ends, and on comes the news program 48 Hours.
Oh boy, yeah, you got to talk about this.
And if anybody watched that program, if you didn't watch that program, I would say it is 45 minutes of some of the greatest television you will ever see.
Really?
The problem is
Uh-huh.
the program was an hour long.
Ouch.
The final 10 minutes will make you want to pull your look, I have enough hair. I was pulling my hair out. Now, look, I have to tell you how I'm watching this. So I'm at the bar watching this because there was a little celebration for the bar across the street from me. So I'm at the bar watching this, and we got subtitles, and I was enthralled with this story. I was not leaving. I would not leave for anything. They had a band going on, and I was not even paying attention to the band.
Oh, wow.
I was watching this show. And
yeah.
So it was about the Chowchilla. I hope I'm pronouncing that right because, I don't know, it's California. But it was about Chowchilla, California in 1972. There was a bus of 26 children that were kidnapped on their way home from school. 3 gunmen came on the bus. Now, I have questions that need to be answered that were not answered in the program, but they spelled out the entire way that these guys did it. They got on the bus, they held the kids with sawed-off shotguns, held them, took the bus, drove it into a cornfield, loaded the kids onto a van, took the van and drove it to a nearby, I guess it was like a rock quarry.
Yeah.
And where they had dug a trench and put I guess like some kind of a bunker in there, shuttled the kids, shuffled them into the bunker and closed the lid and basically locked these kids in a bunker wherever they were. Now, again, the first 45 minutes of the episode is basically the kid, the living members of this telling their story and telling everything that happened, and it was fantastic. And it was, listening to them, it was harrowing. Listening to all the things that are going on, and you have the sheriff talking about how they were looking for the kids, and I'm not a parent, but I've worked in schools.
Right.
I've been around kids all my life. When that kid doesn't come home when the bus is 5 minutes late, that heart stop of where are my kids?
Right.
Just imagine 36 hours of
I'd be going.
The bus and the bus is completely gone. Like the bus is complete. Everybody's gone. So that's what's going on this entire time. Is they're telling this story, and it was again. It was just when I say fantastic, it was just mind blowing about all of this, all that's going on. And so finally, the kids get to the point where they're like, we either get out. If we don't get out of here, we're going to die.
Right.
So these are elementary school kids. So it's not like these are, high school kids who have been lifting and have strength. These are elementary school kids.
Yeah.
So they come up with the plan of they put all these mattresses together that I guess were down there for them or whatever.
Yeah.
They put them all together. And they got one of the kids, I guess, on another kid's shoulders, and he just pressed up on whatever the manhole cover was that was covering it, got out, started digging through all the dirt that was thrown on top of it until get out. And they I have to stress this point enough. The kids got themselves out.
Yes.
They get themselves out. And they run down and they see the rock quarry and they just run to the rock quarry. And the manager of the rock quarry is like, what the hell are you guys doing here? Like, what is going on? He has no clue what's going on. And so they call the police. The police come, they get them. This is kind of, it saddens me to say, like, it's funny. It was kind of funny when I first heard it. So the police get the kids. And you want to know where the nearest medical facility was?
Where?
The local prison.
Oh, stop. Oh,
So
my
they bring
gosh.
the kids. So they get the kids on a bus. So they get the kids on a prison bus and police escort into the jail.
Oh, my gosh.
Into the prison so that they could get medical attention, so that the medical professionals that work at the jail could see the kids. But I just was like, you just took these kids who spent 36 hours in a confined space and you brought them to a prison? Like, wait, what? I understand that, like, it was the closest thing it was the closest thing. It was probably the only thing they had. I mean, you think about where they were. They were in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Of nowhere, which is where you put prisons, in the middle of nowhere. So it made sense, but it was just like you can't make this stuff up.
You can't make this up. You cannot make this up.
So that's the first 45 minutes. It's awesome. You get to hear all the reactions, you know.
Right.
But then you get to the harrowing part, which is the next 5 minutes of all the aftermath of this. All this, kids, guys saying, when I went home, I couldn't sleep. I every night when the lights turned off, I would scream. I would do all the, the mental anguish that this put on these people. One guy said the only way he could escape it was through drugs, and he went and he became a junkie for 10 years, and then finally was able to get over that and get sober. And it's just the anguish of them was, it was awful. So
it's off the charts. It's off the charts.
That's kind of expected and you're like, all right, well, that mental anguish, all of that has to be taken in. And then you hear about the actual kidnappers.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's just 3 random guys. Like, you're sitting there like, the whole time I'm sitting there watching this and I'm like, oh my God, this story is crazy. I was like, now I want to know, all right, you caught them. Why did they do this? The sole reason they did it so they could hold the kids ransom and get ransom money.
Oh,
not even like, let me get ransom money from a family. They took the kids because they wanted to get ransom money from the state of California, and they knew they would pay for the kids or something. And this is where the story just falls off a cliff, because it becomes the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So the reason why the kids were able to escape is because the kidnappers fell asleep. They fell asleep. Now, here's the other funny thing. So because they kidnapped 26 kids, you have 26 families calling 911 and flooding the phone lines of the state police, and flooding. They're trying to get information and trying to do all that.
Yep.
Because there was so much activity on the phone lines, the kidnappers couldn't get through to make their ransom demand. So they never made anything. Nothing ever happened. Nothing ever happened.
Talk about something backfiring.
A story that is freaking epic. And then the end of the tale is, they got arrested and nothing happened. Like they didn't get anything out of it. They didn't even get through the phone line. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That is nuts.
So
that is nuts.
So these 3 guys, they get arrested, and they go to court, and here's where it turns from just, all right, this tale was an epic tale, to, all right, really nothing happened, to absolute, I wanted to punch the TV.
Oh, boy.
These guys get convicted of kidnapping.
Yes.
They get 26 counts of kidnapping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, when you there's certain rules. There's certain things like whatever happens, You can only get a certain amount of jail time or whatever.
Right.
However, one of the stipulations on kidnapping is if there is bodily harm, you can get put away for life. Which when they go to trial, they put them through and they charged the kidnappers with bodily harm to these kids, which obviously 36 hours in a bunker. Yeah, there's going to be some kind of bodily harm.
Yep.
It's not even, so they do that and they get put away, life in prison, throw away the key. Good. We're good. And end the story right there. Everybody walks away happy.
But then
years later, their lawyers appeal the case, claiming there was no bodily harm. So the life in prison should be off the table, and they should get 27 years with parole. See, they got 27 to life without parole, no chance. You're in, you're gone because of the bodily harm issue. When they took that off the table, now parole was involved.
Oh,
and
boy.
This is where society breaks down. Because if you can kidnap 26 people and still get on parole, that's absolutely insane.
Oh, man.
But it gets worse.
It gets worse.
It gets worse. Because of the way our system is done, you don't just get, all right, here, all right, you're up for parole. Yeah, you didn't get it. You didn't get it. Go away. No. Every 2 years, you're up for parole. So just imagine this. These kids who had a harrowing experience.
Yes.
Thought everything was done. They were away for life. There was nothing to worry about. Till they reversed that decision. And now every 2 years, these kids, I say kids because I refer to them as when they were kidnapped.
Yeah.
But every 2 years, they had to go in front of the parole board and relive the experience every 2 years to keep these guys in prison.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
And again, I know I keep saying this, and it gets worse. So eventually, there's part of the story where the guy who I was talking about, who went to drugs and got over it, got sober.
Yes.
And his story, his part of his getting sober was he eventually just said, "You know what? I can't live with this anymore. I can't live with the hatred for these people anymore. I have to just I have to forgive them. It was that kind of story." And he was like, "You know what? What happens to them happens to them. I'm not dealing with this anymore." So he was out. He went in, he forgave them, and he said, "You know what? Whatever happens." And so he no longer testified.
Right.
There was one lady who testified every single year, every single time. She was the one that went in and told her story.
Yeah.
And that's what kept. And so eventually they let the two accomplices, who they were like, these guys didn't really know what they were doing. They were just kind of there and going along with it. But I'll get to that in a minute. But they let them out. So they let them out with parole because they really didn't have anything to do with it. They didn't plan this. They kind of just were going along for the ride. So they get out. So both of them get out. And now there's just the one guy who planned it all and was doing it. So he's in there and he's up. And this lady is every time he's up for parole, she's there to tell her story, to basically say, this guy took my childhood, robbed me of everything. Like I don't have relationships with people. I have conditions because of what this guy did.
Yep.
Every time she does that, the parole board is like, nope, we're not letting this guy out. We're not letting him out. Well, unfortunately, at 55 years old, she passes away. And this parole board in California should be ashamed of themselves.
Don't tell me.
A year after she passes away, he's up for parole. Parole granted.
Oh boy. Boy.
Now, this is why I say this is why I was so mad when this story came out, is you don't even hear from the parole board. You don't get any information as to why. Why did you let this guy out?
Yeah.
Why? And I get it. Like, oh, we didn't have any stories against him. You have her. You have her story. Every story she told, you keep telling that story. It doesn't matter that she's not physically there to do it because she passed away. Her story lives on. So you bring that story every time. If every time she gave it in person, it was good enough, then it was good enough after she's dead. And that's the parole board were cowards. Cowards.
Yeah.
There's no reason that monster should be on. He should not have been let out of prison. They should. I said this on Facebook the minute after I got home. I said this, and I still believe this. They should have thrown the key away. They should have locked him up in a bunker in the basement and thrown the key away and said, "This is what you did to those kids. You deal with it for the rest of your life."
We're gonna deal with it. We're gonna do it to you. We're gonna do it to you.
That's how it should have been handled. And he never should have seen the light of day ever again.
Absolutely.
I don't care.
Absolutely.
I don't care what happened. I don't care. Well, and because
there were
this
26 counts of kidnapping.
This
that alone should have put it. That alone should have put him away.
The main reason why you brought up the 26, but I'd sing a different tale if, like, all of a sudden, he did the kidnapping, but all of a sudden he had some kind of epiphany and he let the kids out. That didn't happen. The kids got out on their own.
Yeah.
It's not like they said, oh, the kids, it's not like they caught the guy and then he said, oh, I'm caught. The kids are here. Go rescue them. That's not what happened. The kids got out on their own. If the kids didn't get out, he would have been looking at 26 murders because those kids would have died in there because they forgot about them. So it's not like he had some kind of epiphany all of a sudden that, oh, wait, I'm doing something horrible. And this goes back to the accomplices who they said, oh, they really had nothing to do with it. No, the minute the planning guy said, hey, we're gonna kidnap 26 kids, the minute he said we're gonna go on a school bus with shotguns, you should have said, dude, you're crazy. We're not doing this.
Yep.
Like a normal person would say, that's a dumb idea. Let's not do this.
That's normal. What the hell is normal nowadays?
I don't feel sympathy for the guys. They shouldn't have been let out on parole either because they should have been kept in there just for stupidity.
Absolutely
you
correct.
allowed this to happen. You went along with it every step of the way. You were right there. You could have stopped this at any moment and said, "This is crazy. This is
dumb.
Idea. Let's not do
this. This is dumb. Let's not do. Let's not do this.
Pure evil. Like we're not doing this. I'm dropping my gun and I'm leaving and go away, or take care of it yourself. Like at any point you could have stopped it and you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And again, to reiterate the point, the kids got out on their own. These guys had nothing to do with helping them. They didn't help them at all. And so, why? All I wanted is somebody from that parole board to say, well, here's why we let them out, because it was this amount of years. He made things right with a certain group of people. Like he met with, while he was in prison, he met with the families of this. Any excuse, give me something. Give me something I can say.
But he got nothing.
Give me something I can say. This guy did something great that allowed him to get out. No, they didn't give us anything. They just said, yeah, he served enough time and the pro board let him out. What? Like, why? Well, that's what I want. I wanted the why. I wanted the how did this happen?
Yeah.
How do we allow that to happen?
Didn't get it.
And,
Didn't get it.
And it was just, again, 45 minutes of great television ruined by 10 minutes of just absolutely looking at yourself and going, this is the society we live in now. This is a society where you can kidnap 26 people and be let out on the street. And just, yeah, go ahead. Like, amazing. I felt so dejected after watching it. Like, I was just so mad. I was so mad at the world.
And I don't blame you.
Luckily, I live in Connecticut, which is as far from California as you can get.
Yep.
If I was there, I'll tell you right now, Texas justice would be coming for him.
Yeah.
They'd be doing a roundup. Somebody found him hanging from a tree because that's that's how they handled stuff back in the Western days.
Right. Right.
They didn't allow these people to, oh, we're gonna let them out. Okay, you let them out. We'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. We got this.
We got this. Absolutely. That's Chris Dietz joining us as he does every Thursday, an extended version of Totally Dietz.
Before I go.
Yeah.
Let me give my riddle for next week. So if you can solve this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm going to compare what Major League Baseball is facing right now is the same thing as Wise's favorite team and what they used to be called in the early 90s and late 90s, early 2000s. If you know what they used to call Wise's favorite team, you know the IP I'm going to be talking about.
Okay.
So
oh boy,
you can be talking about Nick's failure. Gotcha. Okay.
Not yes. Yes, failure of the Knicks.
That's too easy.
But
that's Dietz. That's his riddle. See if you can solve it. If anybody can solve it,
as you can solve it, you know what's coming next Thursday, and and Major League Baseball, you are on the hot seat. I'm saying this right now.
Oh boy. Well, thank you, Dietz, very much.
Thank you, sir.
This is definitely going to be a podcast episode. This episode of Totally Dietz is definitely going to be on the podcast list today because I'm making sure I'm going to edit it because I'm going to be on location most of the day. I can't wait to post this episode up and spread it around. Thank you, Dietz. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, man.
Passionate.
Come after.
Passionate. Passionate.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Unflinching.
Let's go back to losing. Parking was easier.
Unrelenting.
They're not going to keep him off the field tonight.
Totally.
This one has a chance.
Dietz.
That's not just a murmur, that's a full-blown fibrillation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about an extended version.
Mm-hmm.
But I love what he brought up.
Yeah.
Your mic is very, very low, partner.
No, I'm speaking very low. All right, we're overdue for an hour number 2 update, so here we go, because hour 2 actually has begun in a few minutes, but it begins officially right now.
Time for hour 2 of this spectacular. Ryan McCoffey now joins us this morning.
That's what you need to do to beat Josh Allen. You need to make him uncomfortable.
Hour 2, time for some Spivey notes. And here's Jay.
Well, I know he's only in his 3rd year, but they're just wasting Justin Herbert.
Hour 2,
the hardest working content creator I know, the playmaker.
Hey, LeBron James, the greatest scorer of all time. Hey.
Hour 2,
the one, the only Christopher Dietz.
They rewarded Ohio State for not playing, and they punished USC for playing.
Hour 2, Sam Shady.
Oh, man. It's been a roller coaster ride if you were a Philadelphia Stars fan.
Hour 2, that's Big Ben, the man in charge of the BS3 network.
And if I see Kurt 2 Chainz Cousins out.
Hour 2, Chris Bay's joining us.
Oh my God! Oh, this game! Oh, way to go, Sammy!
Hour 2, was El.
Oh man, I thought I missed it.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Time for hour 2 of this spectacular, and it starts right now. Well, this is going to be an abbreviated hour 2.
Of course.
Thank you, Dietz, for that. But think about some of the when I post the podcast today. Think about some of the stuff that Dietz talked about. That's going to be its own. That's going to be its own episode. And I kind of have an idea on how I'm going to do it from now on. How I'm going to do the podcast version of it, and I know everyone suggested, go with the clips, go with the short segments. But what I'm going to do is take that idea and expand it over the course of 45 minutes. Just take the best clips from the show or the best segments and squash it down to like 45 minutes to an hour, and then just put timestamps in it. I was thinking about it this morning on the drive in, but now that I have an editor on my laptop, I can do this on the road too. Okay. So Mark Cuban is bitching and whining and moaning because he got beat by the Warriors again. Oh, did I say that aloud?
And see, I was giving you the room to talk about that, but you had to start off the broadcast with it.
All I said was, to be the champs, you got to beat the champs. And the Mavericks ain't there. Matter of fact, you know how many times I've been told, and you've been told the same, that we don't know our hoops?
Yeah, I've been told that many times, yes.
Okay. Yeah, let me turn this
I'm
up
wrong,
here.
but I've been told many times that.
Oh, yeah, we know. Oh, they're definitely wrong. All I said was, to be the champs, you have to beat the champs. And last I checked, it's March 23rd, not April 9th. So riddle me this, Cole Sports with a Z. Why do people love putting an epitaph on the Warriors when the season is not done? Especially owners of other teams. I don't know, Mark Cuban perhaps want to blame the refs when they simply got beat.
It's simple. Sports fan is all about what have we seen lately, and they are prisoners of the moment for real. I mean, it's just ridiculous how you can have these takes of, well, they're done, they're finished. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen many people whenever the Warriors lose. See, I told you last year's ring was a fluke, and Curry is a fraud, and Klay Thompson's a fraud, and of course they run with Charles Barkley's phrase with Draymond Green, and Draymond Green is just a walking triple single. We told you the Warriors are a fraud.
Yep.
And here is the thing. Both you and I combined, we have watched 8 decades of basketball, 8 decades of professional basketball at that.
Yep.
We can recall times when we've seen teams that have not had the greatest of regular seasons turn it on in the playoffs. Now, you know my example.
1995.
I would say now my example. I mean, the Rockets could not have looked worse from December to April.
And they were inconsistent.
Yeah. I mean, because
Man,
they
they were
started out
inconsistent.
they started out the gate hot. I
Yep.
mean, they looked all the part of how they did when they finished off last year, the year before. So everything looked fine, and all of a sudden it just went. It just
South.
spiraled downward quickly, and from
It went
about
south fast.
yeah. So I'd say about maybe because the season probably things started like late October. I'd say probably from around Thanksgiving till when the playoffs started. The team was trying to find its footing, and it was frustrating to follow them. And they circled their way all the way down to the 6th seed. And you have to understand, you look at that playoff then up ahead, and you had a team that won 60 games and didn't win the division. You had a team that won 59 games, and of course they won the division, and you had a team that won 62 games to win the division.
Right.
And that was their fate. They did not have home court throughout the whole playoffs. They had to beat a 60-win Jazz team. It took them 5 games to do it, and this is when the first round went to 5 games and not 7.
Right.
It took them 7 to beat the Suns, who the Sun and this is what was messed up there. The Suns had revenge in their minds because they blew a 2-0 series lead the year before against the Rockets.
Yep.
And then they had a 3-1 series lead and home court advantage, and they lost that one to the Rockets.
Yep.
Then they went up against an MVP-led, David Robinson powered Spurs team. Oh, by the way, with Dennis Rodman on the squad.
Yes.
And beat them in 6 games, and they won 62 that year. They had the best record in the season.
And that's
then,
the year we saw the best version of the Dream Shake because David Robinson fell victim to that in Game 6, and Greg Gumbel's mouth went through the floor in the Summit.
That was the best. That was the best Hakeem ever looked, ever looked.
Wasn't that the year that Hakeem? Wasn't that the year that Hakeem went to Sam Cassell, or was it the year prior?
No, it was the year prior. It was the playoffs year prior where he. What was series? I think it was the first round series where he grabbed the ball out of the timeout. He grabbed the ball and he grabbed Sam, and he pointed to the ball and he pointed to himself, and you could see him mouth the words, "Give me the ball."
You know who should do that now? Anthony frickin' Davis.
To any of the point guards.
Here's my Listen, Anthony Davis does not have LeBron in his head. LeBron's not on the floor with him, demanding the ball. Anthony Davis, this is your time to prove me wrong. This is your time to prove me wrong because all you have to do is tell the folks on the floor, including Austin Reeves, look, we ain't got LeBron on the floor. The ball needs to go through me. Can a lie be found with that?
Look,
I'm waiting to hear my partner's response.
Look, it's just simple.
Which says,
"Oh, the lie can't be found," but it's simple. You have a player on your team that very few players can stop.
Right.
What is the purpose in wanting to show off your own skills?
Yep.
When the name of the game is winning, and if he cooks, it'll be better if you all would. And
now,
you have to think along with the process of you got to feed him first. And he is not a selfish player. If he sees that you have a better shot, he'll pass it out to you. I mean, it's just too simple.
Okay, Okay, I'll use a baseball reference, and yes, we talk baseball on this program.
What?
If the order goes through Frank Edward Thomas Jr., Why would Ozzie Guillen stop that? The only way that doesn't stop is because of an injury. That's it.
That's the
And
only
that's the
reason
only
why he
thing
would
that
stop.
derailed Frank Thomas in 2005 was an injury.
And I get laughed at when I say, now, the guy that we do Hooked on Phonics commercial for deserves to be Robin.
Yes.
And Anthony Davis deserves to be Batman. And I get laughed at because people are so enamored with, well, here's this guy, year number 20, he still put up 36 and 8. I don't give a crap. The team's still losing.
Okay,
Have the
the
number one
Lakers
option run through the guy who was in his prime. That isn't number 6 of the Lakers. I'm sorry to break the news to you. It has not been ever since he's been a Laker.
Here's a statement that's going to anger Laker fans and Laker Nation. The Lakers got lucky last night that they caught the Suns in disarray because the Suns aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, I think they're gonna circle the drain, and they may bow out in the first round.
The Suns are going. You ready for this one? Because I'm going to make you laugh out loud, and I dare anybody to find the lie with my next statement, and it reads as follows. Open it.
Oh Lord. We're talking about Mark Cuban. We were gonna go here. Quote:
The Phoenix Suns are going the way of the Los Angeles Clippers. CTD, circling the drain.
Close quote. CTD, Lord, why?
Find the lie.
Why we had to go CTD with them?
Are they not?
Well,
are they not?
Well, we're talking about a team that started off hot, and then they have basically been in a perpetual state of circling the drain ever since December. So yeah, I mean, and that's not trash talking. That's just truth. I mean, that's what our eyes have seen.
See, and we know certain people in certain chats will try to tell us different, but they don't have facts to back their opinions. We deal with facts here. All the other big shows that you may listen to and may watch do not deal with facts. They deal with opinions. Okay? They deal with nothing but opinions, but they put no numbers behind it. The closest I can say that does would be Colin Cowherd, but even that can be skewed because of the company that he is with. I will talk about that this afternoon.
Now,
see,
go
ahead.
Here's why the Suns are now going to circle the drain.
If they're not circling it now.
Yeah, as opposed to before February.
Right.
You see, the team was just in total disarray, period. And they had nothing that was going to resuscitate them. It wasn't going to be Chris Paul's hunger of getting his first ring ever. It wasn't going to be Devin Booker. It wasn't going to be Devin Booker becoming the guy who is channeling Black Mamba. It wasn't
once again,
Ayton,
which he won't.
It wasn't going to be DeAndre Ayton who was going to be that presence down low that the Suns need because he's still upset with Monty Williams.
Complete the triple play, which he won't.
And so then they figure, okay, we got the magic elixir. Here comes Kevin Durant. Everything seems to be fine. He heals from his injury. He plays a few games for the Suns. Now we have the big time Suns opening home debut of Kevin Durant.
And
he goes in for a layup before the game starts, and the ankle goes. And now he's sitting on the bench, and we most likely will not see him possibly
again
until the playoffs. More than likely, he will be struggling with it the rest of the season up until possibly at some point next year.
My next statement is as follows, and I hate saying this about one of the best players in the game. Kevin Durant is finished. And it's an injury. It's because of an injury.
So
where
you
he
now
got
have a team.
He got taken out. It's
So now
because of an injury. It's only due to an injury that I say Kevin Durant is finished.
So you now have a team that they figured, okay, we have a top 5 prospect that's on the squad. We have a player who he can walk on the court and he can sneeze and score 30. Okay, we're set. We're good.
Yep.
And we know we got the point guard who's going to feed him as often as possible. And he can
Wait a
also
minute. I
feed,
thought
Devin Booker, too.
Steph did that for 2 years. 3 years. I'm sorry. Did I say that?
So the Suns thought, okay, we'll have an embarrassment of riches on offense because Paul will feed Durant and Booker endlessly, and then if it's not those two, then he'll probably go down low and feed Aiden. So they had these dreams of grandeur that they were going to succeed, and now it's started to turn back again into delusions of grandeur because
it's getting uglier by the day. It's getting uglier by the day and worse by the game.
This team was people don't believe this. This team at one time was the number 1 seeded team in the West.
There's a key word in your sentence, sir. Was.
They were the number 1 seeded team in the West. And we're talking about this year. Not last year. Not the year before. This year.
This year. They were for about a month, they were the number 1 seed. For about a month, it went between Utah, Phoenix, and Denver for being the number 1 seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they don't look nor resemble that now.
They are where they need to be, and they're about to get leapfrogged. Let's take a pause and we'll continue with this. Let's take a pause and we'll continue with this discussion. We'll put a pin in it here and we'll come back and we'll discuss more on why the Phoenix Suns are in the process of disintegrating. With Cole Johnson, this is the Snowman. You're watching Snowman in the morning and listening to it on all of our favorite networks, including WQEE 99.1 FM. Back in a flash.
This is Snowman in the morning.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
That's why we here on this platform.
Marriage, a loving splendor, a daily grind. Such is the case when Damien and Jamie get together and chop it up, for marriage is real.
Let's just lay it all out here. Let's just be real with it.
Join this wonderful couple who keeps it real and always in love. BS3 Network proudly presents Marriage is Real, where love is the only thing that matters. Live every Tuesday at 8:30 Central. Oh, and Jamie has something to say.
Deuces and trays.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high-potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus. Smarter than energy.
Cause we take this job so serious.
The f is that? Sorry, pardon me. My apologies.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
Welcome back to the home stretch of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. I am one half of that duo, Cole Johnson. My partner will join me momentarily. And the clip you just heard or seen from our brother Wise El Jefe, it was because we were talking about a team who took a stupendous, absolutely craptacular that for the very first time, and the following came out of his mouth.
Cause we take this job so serious.
The f is that? Sorry, pardon me. My apologies.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
So we were talking about just basically teams who were downward spiraling. The Suns were one of them. And I believe my partner will love this point that Victor Locke has put forth, and I agree with him on this when he says, my conspiracy theory is that the modern NBA and, more importantly, the modern NBA fan is trying to assassinate the principle of fundamental team basketball, and the Warriors are one of the last bastions.
Yep.
What have I often said about the Warriors? When people were so enamored and so concerned and feared the three,
yeah,
I said, no, that's the wrong approach to take with them, because they're a team that is Princeton on steroids.
Preach that again. Did you say Princeton on steroids?
Yes.
Pay attention, Arizona Wildcats.
Yeah, I mean, the Warriors offense is Princeton on steroids, because it is like death by 1,000 paper cuts. And then I twisted it and said it's death by 1,000 backdoor cuts.
Yep.
Because they know that you want to defend the three, and you have Klay Thompson and you have Stephen Curry, where if you do leave them wide open, more than likely they're going to kill you deep. They're going to drain those threes and
they're going to kill. Let me borrow Jeff Dunham. Let me borrow Jeff Dunham. They're going to kill you.
Yeah. And so
from distance, they're gonna kill you. What's up, Drew Willingham? I will be ready for Sunday's version of the Sports Senseis. I'll explain why this afternoon that didn't happen. Go on, partner.
All right. So the theory is, and this goes to your point, Victor, which you are correct. I will say that, sir. This goes to the fundamental team basketball play. So you fear that.
Did you say fundamentals?
Yes, fundamentals. Yes, I said an F word.
Did you cuss? Did you cuss?
Yes, I said an F word.
You did.
So the theory is, and believe me, I saw this because, as we have documented on this show many times, I got a chance to see the Rock. I got a chance as a Rockets fan to see the Warriors play literally up close and personal 4 out of 5 years, when at this stretch the Warriors were at their best. They would have a defense literally draw themselves out to the perimeter and would try to say, okay, we're going to close out or be in good position so we can close out on a guy who's attempting a three. Well, they hope that, and then once that happens, you have the master of the hockey assist, Mr. Stephen Curry.
Yep.
He'll throw it inside. More than likely it'll be to Draymond Green, but it could be to anybody. But he'll throw it inside, and either he will find an open spot in the perimeter, or he would just simply cut to the lane and just go to the hole. And Green will just drop the pass off to him, or to Clay, or to then Harrison Barnes, or to now Andrew Wiggins, or to Andre Iguodala back then, and hopefully now in the future, or anybody that would just be willing to cut in the lane. Now Jordan Poole. So
how big has Jordan Poole been for the Warriors the past 2.5 years?
Yeah, so now you have to deal with, okay, the basket needs to be protected. So then you slide your defense to cut off the backdoor cuts, and then the threes start to rain down. Fundamental basketball, and that is what happened last.
Which is what happened last night.
Yeah, fundamental basketball, because because the whole league is enamored with, okay, I just want to take the three because a three is more than two, but they forget two is more than zero, and you got to have the opportunity to have easy buckets, and I think people don't understand the amount of easy buckets helps your team to win. So if you have more easy buckets, the more chances are to win, and they're not, and buckets don't come easier. Then all you have to do is just lay it up or dunk. So you get enough of them, your battle's half.
It's like you said. It's like you said with the Warriors, death by 1,000 backdoor cuts.
Yeah,
which is what Princeton did all night long against Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And if teams actually learn the fundamentals again, then we have some prettier basketball. Colin Cowherd said it. I echo it. My partner echoes it. Victor echoes it. And anybody who's paid attention to basketball for an extended period of time echoes this statement. It goes like this. Today's NBA fan and today's NBA analysts, save a couple, are focused and enamored on two things: stars and stats. Stars and stats. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback when I say my next statement, but I don't care. I welcome the pushback because of the fact that the NBA itself, the constituents therein who vote for, who have voting interest in awards, robbed Stephen Curry of 2017 and 2018. Now, my partner pushes back on that with the fact that Kevin Durant was a member of the Warriors at the time, so Kevin and Steph cancel each other out. Very true. Very true.
Definitely 2017, that's the case. Yes.
Yeah, because the Warriors just roared through everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, and you wouldn't think Kevin Durant was the leading scorer on that team, but at 30.5 points a game, he was. Okay? Mm-hmm. And it's a quiet 30.5 points a game. Very quiet.
Right.
But here's why I say Steph got robbed twice. 2017, Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double throughout the course of the season, including a 30-footer to end a 50-point triple-double, and everybody was so enamored with that they say that season, that game, I beg your pardon, which took place in Denver, sealed Russell Westbrook's fate as the league MVP. Here's where I push back on that point. Which team was fighting to get into the playoffs, and which team had already sealed the number one seed in the West?
Well, there's no argument there to be made. The argument that I think the NBA family had about Westbrook being the MVP that year is he did something that hadn't been done in over 50 years. And unfortunately, he has cheapened it by in the next two successive seasons doing a season triple-double yet again. So
which is why I make my statement of Steph being robbed of MVP in 2017 and 2018. Again, echoing my partner's point that because of the addition of Kevin Durant to Golden State, which basically took them from super speed to hyper speed for 3 years.
Basically.
It took them from super speed to hyper speed. You know, Kevin Durant and Steph canceled each other out, and it's very true. The 2018 World Championship Series proved that. when a 43-point performance by Kevin Durant basically netted him the Finals MVP. I have no problem and no issue with that fact. Okay? No lie can be found in any of my partner's arguments. What pisses me off is when these panelists, producer Clark, I love you for that word, is when these fake ass panelists will use every non factor. You listening, Rod? Every non factor to discredit and disown what actually happened on the field or on the court. Am I lying anywhere, partner?
Mm-mm. And here's what's going to make you even angrier.
Try me.
So, all right. So in 2017, yes, you're correct. The Warriors ran away with the whole league that year.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. There was no team that was going to touch them in 2017.
Right.
And plus, they were motivated because they lost the finals the year before.
Because they got screwed the year before. But
yeah,
I digress.
Yeah. So they were on a mission and they wanted to crush everybody, and did.
Yep.
And like I said, for MVP, either guy, either Durant or Curry, I would not have had a problem with either one winning it. But I knew they weren't going to. I knew they weren't because I was like, okay, I'm not seeing. Now, if we saw Curry have like 35 and Durant maybe had 20 to 25, then yeah, I would think Curry probably would have gotten the MVP or vice versa.
Right.
But since you had Durant who scored 30 and I think Curry was like between like 25 and 27.
Yep.
People would think, well, neither guy really is the guy that really led the team there. It's sort of a tandem thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, no, not there.
Yep.
The part that's going to anger you is the person who felt cheated out of the 2017 MVP award was James Harden.
And he won the. I knew that's where you were going because he felt cheated out of 2017 award. So just to make up for it, they gave him the award in 2018. Meanwhile, the person who should have won
didn't have as good of a year in 2018, 2017. I agree.
And the person who should have won couldn't win because of an injury that took away a lot. That took away a lot of his games. That took away the tail end of the. That took away the tail end of the 2017-2018 season.
Yeah. So
and because of that fundamental rule, he couldn't qualify for winning the MVP. Right. That part I understand.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, even if he did play the required number of games, he wouldn't have gotten the 2018 MVP anyway because everybody was so enamored with James Harden and that step back travel. Oops.
Yeah. Oh, you ain't lying. But it's just, that was just how it is. And to me, Harden I think had the better year in 2017 than 2018.
Yep.
But I even knew then I was like, okay, Harden's up for the award. I don't think he's going to win it because I figured it was going to go to Westbrook considering that he did something that was done by Oscar Robertson in 62 and hadn't been done since then. So he's probably going to get the nod because. Normally, and this is why Harden won in 2018, normally MVP awards go to the best player with the best record on the team that has the number one seed overall normally. So and the number two guy on that team has to basically, I would say, have a distance of he can't average 10 points. He has to average 10 points or more or less than the number one guy. For example, like
Magic Johnson, anyone?
Yeah, like for example, Jordan. Jordan definitely with 91 and 92. He averaged 30 and Pippen was averaging 20. It had to be that type of discrepancy for the award makers to look at it and say, okay, so this is the unquestioned number one guy on the team. So in 2018, you had that with Harden. The Rockets won 65. The Warriors only won 58. And so you had Harden, who did not have as good of a year. He was going to win it, and I knew it as soon As
Same.
when the Rock, I knew it as soon as when the Rock. I'm talking back in January of that year.
Yeah.
When the Rockets beat the Warriors to win the season series in the regular season against them, I said, okay, so the MVP is Harden's. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
So that's done. Now can they actually win the real award and actually get a Western Conference championship and win the World Championship?
And the answer to that was a resounding no.
And so I didn't care about him winning the MVP. I wanted that. I wanted those 2 rings, or the Western Conference championship and the
World Championship.
Yeah, because those are the 2 that matter. And he didn't come close to sniffing either one. So in my estimation, okay, fine. Harden wins 2018's MVP. To me, Durant and Curry got the last laugh, and got the last laugh against him. So
more than once.
Yeah.
More than once.
Yeah. And so, yeah, and then you had 2019 when Harden decided to go absolutely ballistic and try his hand in scoring as many points, averaging as many points in the season as Jordan. And I'm thinking that basically Daryl Morey, the now current president of basketball operations for the 76ers, He had to have no, I'm not going to go there. He had the nerve to say, quote, James Harden is the best offensive player in the history of the NBA. Close quote. I was going to go with he needed the Blaze.
And defensively, James Harden got sliced to pieces all year.
Yeah, and got sliced to pieces when they got booted out that year in the conference semifinals against the Warriors. But with Daryl Morey's statement, I was going to say he's blazed up and smoking, but no, I'm going to go this way.
Why the you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop lying. Always lying to me. You lying so much. You making it hard for me.
And you get no argument out of me. And on that note,
those type of things is ridiculous, man. Yeah.
And on that note, we have come to the finish line of this late-running version of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. We want to thank y'all for tuning in to us today. And Friday, tomorrow's Friday. We got a fully loaded show for you. I'll be back in studio. Chris Bass at the bottom of hour 2, Ben Sutter at the top of hour 2. Sam Shady will not be able to join us tomorrow because he and the family are road tripping.
Oh, cool.
But,
okay. Good.
Yeah, we want to wish Sam safe travels.
Yes.
They're going to Nebraska. So
enjoy your time, fam, bro.
Enjoy your time. And please be safe and come back to us next Friday. Yeah. Cole and I will fill the bottom of hour 1 with some football talk. And that's what we got, and that's what we'll do. This afternoon, the Brian Snow Show welcomes Chris Pomey from Windsor, Ontario. He'll join me at 2 o'clock this afternoon, replay on WQEE at 5 p.m. And thank you to the folks at WQEE for picking up this program as well as the Brian Snow Show. We appreciate you. Cole Sports is a part of Snowman Multimedia. Stuck in My Mind podcast, as well as Mentality. Thank you to everyone that has supported Cole Sports, Snowman Multimedia, and Real Wise Productions. This conglomerate is going to take over Las Vegas at the Super Bowl. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move, and always remember, if your dreams don't scare you,
then they are not big enough.
And Hawk TV, it's his heirs forever, not LaFraud. We're out of here. See you tomorrow.
And this is for you, Victor.
This moment of bronze sexual stupidity is brought to you by Hooked on Bronix. When you start talking like an idiotic bronze sexual, Hooked on Bronix can set you right. Call 1-800-YOKAY. Alright, LJPM. Now approve all this.